Hi, my people. Welcome back to 100 Days of Data with Miss Mailiana. Today is day 10. We are already warming up. In fact, we are done warming up at this point. 10% of 100, actually. We have 90 more days to go. Welcome. I am Francisca Mailiana Zonki, your lead tutor for this challenge. Today, we are going to be looking at our very first data set. So, link to the data sets will be in the description below, so you can also have the data set I'm using for this, and you also go through as well. So we are not going to do too much today, but you're going to start knowing what it means by data cleaning. So data cleaning is one of the data analytics process you have to carry out every time you get a data as a data analyst. I think I stretched on every time there. Yeah, data cleaning is very important, and when you start in the real world, you can spend many days actually cleaning your data before you get into analyzing. Why? Because if your data is not accurate, you are going to have errors in your insights. So it's very important that you clean your data so well. What are some of the things that you need to note when you are cleaning data? When you are cleaning the data, it's just like you taking out the chaff, you taking out the inconsistency, you taking out things that are not supposed to be in the data out of the data. So you look at taking out duplicates, because if there are duplicates, that means there is going to be a bias. Instead of you having one once, you may have double, and having double means that you're adding twice, and that is going to cause some errors in your insight. So you have to take off all duplicates. Also, you want to make your data look presentable. When someone sees your data, they can read through easily. So your formatting has to be good, and how to arrange everything to be good. So it's more of like removing duplicates, removing missing values, right? So some of the data that wouldn't be information there, you have to take it or take them all off. And so when it comes to data cleaning, there's no one way fit, but these are the major things you have to look out for: duplicates, missing values. Inconsistency means that where there's supposed to be an A, there shouldn't be a 1. Where there's supposed to be numbers, should be numbers. Where there's text, should be text. Remember our types of data as well. So you go through that every time when you have a new data to work with. All right, so let's try to see if the data we have is clean. If it's clean, we are good to go. If it's not clean, I don't know how I'm going to tax you to get a new data, but we are going to do some of the things that will make you actually understand this whole show. All right, so let's go on. So we have our data here. Okay, so this is my data. First and foremost, I want to save as. So this is the real data. I'm going to save again. Let me save this as, I'm going to clean it at the end of this call, this video. So let me say clean warehouse data. Okay, so saved. Remember, when you are saving, it should be what? Excel workbook, right? Let me show you what I mean. This one here, right here, XLSX, should always remember that. Right, I've already saved. And for the very first thing is, you can see that everything looks clustered, right? That's the word, clustered. In this data, you can't see things clearly, so that's why it's very important for you to clean. You have to, so the very first thing I mostly do is what, make sure that my header, this one's, the names of the data, so the labels, right, are unique from the data. As of now, you can see that they are all the same, right? So it's being unique is that I make it bold. So I've selected it, so I'm going to make it bold, right? And I'm going to increase it to about 18, right? So it's now bold. But as you can see, there are overlaps. Why? Warehouse, sorry, warehouse is overlapping IJK, right? We don't want that. We are going to sort that very soon. But let's look for duplicates, and let's look for missing values before we treat our space, okay? I'll tell you the reason why soon. All right, so to find duplicates, I'm going to go to data and remove duplicates. So go to your data tab and then you remove duplicates. So it's saying yes, my list has headers, so these are my headers, like the data labels, and I say okay. All right, so no duplicates found, so our data is clean. All right, if there are duplicates, it's going to remove duplicates, so it's going to say something like 5 duplicates removed or 6 duplicates removed. That's it. But now my data is not clean. I think at this point, okay, let's go on as well. All right, the next thing we are going to look out for would be missing values or empty cells. So for that, I'm going to do Control J, J for goat, J for God, J for go, right? So that you see this pop up, then you go to special, and then you click on blanks. So you're looking for blank spaces and you go for okay. Right. Okay, so there's a, oh wow, there is an empty space, right? There is an empty space which we wouldn't know what is going to be there as at this point, because we can see some inconsistency with the, okay, where are you? We can see a blank space already. So what do we do here? I'm going to label it NA. We are going to come back again. Let's do one more round for the blank spaces. Okay, control J, then special, then blank spaces, then okay. Oh sorry, I can see another blank space here, so NA. All right, so let's do it one more time. Okay, I can see another one here, so that means I have to look around. Okay, so let's do this first. Let's do NA. Right, why am I doing NA? I'm going to filter it in the next. I'm going to filter it, and we are going to do that in the next video as well. All right, so let's do Control J, special, blank space again, and okay. All right, I think at this point I would want to filter. So filter by selected cells color. I want to give it a color. Okay, so pink. Okay, okay, so as you can see, there are lots of blank spaces. When you go through, you're going to see they're highlighted. This is highlighted, this is highlighted, this is highlighted, this is, there's a highlighting here as well. All right, so let's see. Let's put an NA here. All right, okay, there's also one here, NA as well. So all the, we realize that, in fact, you can see there's something called default here, so probably it's default. So for now, let's find all the missing values and put what NA there. Afterwards, we are going to look through to see that if there are no values, do we put default there? Do you get? So that is what we are going to do throughout. So you are going to see all the highlighted space as well, and you continue like that. All right, okay. Cuts from here. So control special long motion. Okay. Insert home. Let's fill it up. Let's do it again. All right, so to make things easier, this is what you're going to do. So Control J, you go to special, you go to blanks. Okay, what it's, oh sorry, I selected something else. Control J, special blanks. Okay, so what has happened is all empty cells have been selected. So we come to the home tab and go to this bucket here, fill color, and we fill it up with yellow so that we can see all the yellows. Okay, and then we can fill it up, right? So let's zoom. Right, there's a lot of yellows, right? Okay, so we can fill up the yellows. Okay, also we can then move on to do this rather. Okay, control, let's do this. Control A, I've selected everything, and Control T. Right, what am I doing? I'm creating a table out of it. I do this when my data is clean, right? But let's do this. So therefore I can now put in my, yeah, I can now find out my blanks and put in my NA. But before we continue with the blanks, right, we can remember we have some of the NAs already. So let's try to see something, which is filter. We are going to go to this box on the small box here, and then we go search for blanks, right? So first and foremost, unselect everything and search for blanks, right? And then we apply the blanks. So you can see that there are lots of blank spaces, right? There are lots of blank spaces. So what do we put here? Okay, so let's go back and see if they are default. So let's search for default as well. All right, so we see default, and let's apply default. So there are a lot of defaults, and we can see that the defaults mostly have the 3 digits and all that. So I'm going to, instead of me to delete the blank spaces, I'm going to use defaults rather to fill up the blank spaces. Okay, right, I'm going to use that. So let's go back on select, and let's search for blanks, and let's search for NA, right? We brought the NA, so we want to apply. Okay, so let's apply default here first, and let me pull it up here. Okay, so now let's go back to blanks. Okay, apply, and then we are going to put default here. I just have to double click, sorry. I just have to, my cursor has to be in, remember my cursor has to be cancel. My cursor has to be in a plus sign. So that's what I am trying to get. Don't know why it's not happening. So let's just do it the conventional way. Alright, so default is here, right here. Okay, so now so you see how you find your blanks and you work around it. Okay. Okay, so now let's go back to our box here again, select everything, search for blanks. There are no blanks. Okay, all right, so let's go back, select everything and apply. So we have everything here. So now we just scroll through and you see your yellow. I think we saw a yellow somewhere on another side, which is from maybe, so let's go here. I think we saw it here. All right, so let's go here and check for blanks. So you can check for blanks this way. Okay, all right, so for this, let's just put 0 here. And this, mind you, when you are analyzing the data in real life, you don't have the permit to be doing this. But since this is just for our project, we are using our own discretion. Note this, do not add or subtract any data unless you find the reason to. a tangible reason for your company. Otherwise, you're going to make errors. Okay. So now our app, so just to cross check, we just go accordingly and search for blanks. There are no blanks, you just move on to the next. If there are no blanks, you just move on to the next. All right, there are no blanks, so we just move on to the next. If you're typing blanks and there are no blanks, you just move on to the next. So you do that for all the data, and at the end you have a clean data. So you can go back, do Control A. Do we have our Control A? So you can do Control A and remove the fill, the yellow fill, and all becomes normal color for you after doing the blank. And at the end, you put your data into this table format. It makes everything more unique. Everybody can see that your data is a bit clean and presentable. Last thing is we are going to freeze our header, right, so that when you are scrolling up you would still have that there. So I'm going to click on right under it, and I'm going to go to view and go to freeze and freeze top row. So now when I scroll up, right, when I scroll up, I still have my row frozen. That's it. So this is cleaning our data. All right, so we've come to the end of cleaning data. Note, this is just the beginning of cleaning your data sets. We are not even like, just know that data cleaning is a whole system and a whole process you go through when you have any data. Just like you saw, we didn't know that there was a lot of blank spaces on there, so we were doing it one after the other, and we realized that we have to give it its own color so that it's easy to identify, and you move on to that. So when you are cleaning data, the most important things you look out for: duplicate, blank spaces, inconsistencies could be numbers saved in a wrong file and all that. So you have to read and understand your data better. All right, so the link to this data is going to be in the description. Please take your time to also watch the video and practice, and also rewatch and also add any other lessons to it, and you'll be good. So this is the beginning. Do not rush, do not panic. We are just started. All right, see you on day 11. Bye for now. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share to a friend who is starting the journey so that they can benefit from this challenge. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you so much for your comments. We see them all. Let's keep driving. Day 10 already. This is how we are going to drive it to day 100. All right, bye for now.